Okay, so good day to the one and only Debbie Jollie. First up, how did you become, and you'll tell us who you are, and is it everything you dreamed of? Why not?
Oh, so this is an interesting one. I think some children from young know exactly what it is they want to do. I don't think I did. So my title, my corporate title is a marketing strategist. But I think I went through everything a little girl goes through. I think I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to work in the bank. I think I always loved business too because my father has been the model of an entrepreneur my entire life.
Wow.
So naturally for me to get into entrepreneurship, I think was exactly that, a natural progression. And I think as well too, we dream for particular things, and it evolves, and therefore your needs, your wants, your desires change. So what I would have thought of my life to be, as an adult, that has changed a lot. And the good thing is that I am really I am manifesting what it is I want. So I am living the life that I want, at least at this point in my life and my career, and I want to keep it that way.
Okay. So did you start off doing your own thing, or were you in the corporate world? Just pull us back a little bit in
Oh,
history.
I am when I came out of school, the first job that I could have got, well, the first job I got was actually in advertising in a advertising agency, but that was very short lived. After that, when I began to really apply for jobs, the easiest thing to get at that point in time was finance positions, accounts clerks positions, and those things, right? And naturally, what is interesting is finance has kind of followed me through my entire career. It is an interesting story, but it wasn't something that I wanted to make my career. So I started off in finance, and then I always like marketing and the arts and advertising. And then I strategically moved. I began looking for position in sales and marketing, and then moved across fairly early in my career as well. So yes.
All right. So we want a little gist in this corner. So this Stammering Communicator thing, give us the gist.
Yes.
Give us the gist.
Oh, well, for anybody who follows me knows that I stammer or stutter, right? I think we say more stammer in the Caribbean, I think. I stammered terribly as a child, really couldn't string two words together, and so was very introverted. I didn't want to speak, I don't want attention, I don't want negative attention at all. But it was something that I said, from small, this is 4 or 5, I always said, this is not going to control me, this is not going to define me, this is not going to prevent me from doing particular thing. And in the Caribbean, or at least in Trinidad, we have a thing where we say we live bad mind, right? Which really is a sense of determination. And that's what I had. So I've had a lot of persons say, no, you can't do this, you can't be a prime minister. I've had persons say, I didn't like journalism at one point in time, and person said, no, you can't do that. Person said to me, you can't speak, or you can't speak well, so therefore you can't do it. So my entire life has been dedicated to overcoming this, for lack of a better phrase. And so when I began to brand myself in a corporate way, I used that tagline, the Stammering Communicator, because I naturally evolved into sales and marketing. I spent a lot of time as a lecturer trying to control this voice. And I said, I'm going to use this to my benefit. And I use the term the stammering communicator, which is a little bit of an oxymoron, because you'll say a communicator is a person who could speak and speak well, but then a person who stammers cannot. So I joined the two and I use it as my brand. And I didn't really think that it would get as much attention as it does. It's the first thing for any time persons see it, they reach out and they ask all types of questions. I get persons who stammer, who ask me about it. I get persons who listen to my videos and say, I don't hear you stammering. Do you really stammer? I get persons asking me if I'm a speech therapist. So it's been a wonderful tool. I don't think that's the end of it. I have some more things I think I want to launch as a result of it, but I'm using it and I have demystified it. It's not something that is a crutch anymore. It's not something I'm hiding anymore. It is what it is, and I have to embrace it and use it to my benefit.
All right. So we want you to expand a little bit on your contribution to the economy and society. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my company looks at sales and marketing and really helps entrepreneurs as well as corporate firms redefine their marketing and sales strategy. So really we're looking to make organizations more efficient, right? And what I really try to do primarily, and I think I get more benefit when I work with entrepreneurs, is taking them to that next level. I think a lot of people just, they have goals, ideas, dreams. I don't think my generation had coaches and mentors the way that persons have access to coaches and mentors now, so that people can dream, especially in terms of their business, in a limitless way. And I hope that part of what I do encourages persons. Part of what I do with the Stammering Communicator encourages persons. Part of what I do for entrepreneurs will encourage persons, and that's really what I want. I want the company to be solutions oriented, always,
All right, your outlook. So what have you observed looking back, and what's your outlook for the future?
What I've observed, I think maybe in the last 15 to 18 months, I think at least for business, a lot of companies have to realize that things are not staying the same, and they're not staying the same for any length of time. Technology is forcing a lot of things to change, and therefore we have to be innovative. We have to be able to adapt, and it's not just from a corporate perspective, but also from an individual perspective. I think women are carrying so much more and more now. They have to multitask. They have to be everything. And that has a lot of issues with mental health and all these things, right? And so I am hopeful that with the number of things that we have seen in the last year and a half, especially with the pandemic, it will now force persons to be introspective. It will force companies to be introspective as well, and really look at strategies to help them be more efficient, more productive, the way that they operate. So I am seeing more tech. I am seeing a new emerging market of SMEs and MSMEs. The landscape of business is changing. So it's not just about the big Apple and Coca-Cola and McDonald's, but there's an opening up of the market. There's an opening. I mean, my employees are all over the world. I don't say employees, they're really freelancers. So I've worked with people in India, China, Philippines, England. I have a content creator out of Barbados. So it, there isn't limits anymore, and I think that's exciting too, because then you talk to people and you research where they come from and you have discussions. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we want to get to know how
Mm-hmm.
resilient you are. Tell us about your
Ah,
hurdles
well,
for one.
I mean, I think it's like most person. I think we'd never go through life and not have anything. Um, my longest one is, of course, my stutter, because that is with me, has been with me. It's a constant work in progress. I get advice all the time. I was told, you don't be a I can't be a prime minister. I can't be a journalist. I can't be a public speaker. I couldn't be a teacher. I was told these things. And again, from persons who you would think might know better, might be family, were neighbors, well educated persons, and perhaps they meant well, trying to shelter me from more teasing and disruption and so on, right? But I guess inside of all of us, we need to be able to push past that. And so I always knew that it wouldn't define me. Persons ask me that, when did it switch? It never switched. I think I always said, this is not going to define me, from 4 or 5 years old. So when persons say, nah, I can't do that, I would say, nah, I'm going to do this. I mightn't tell them that, but I know I'm going to do it. So I think that is perhaps my biggest one that is going to stay with me. That's always going to be my journey. But I have, like everybody else, companies and ideas. You start and it doesn't work out. Relationships you go through, friendships, like everyone else. But it's you have to be able to get up. You have to be able to get up. You have to be able to say, this is what it is. Have to deal with it and have to move on. Don't always. I never like to stay, and I've been described as that, a little bit of a rolling stone. I'm not letting any moss or any grass grow on me. I realize what is the issue and the problem. I'm going to deal with it, and let's just keep moving. And I think people who do that are able to stand the bounces in life a little bit better than persons who stay in it and don't deal and move on with it.
Give
All
us
right.
some friendly advice in addition to all that you shared before. If you were to add something else to what you shared, what would that be?
You know what I tell persons as well too. I live with this theme, and it's been around in my life as a theme. It's applicable to everything, which is staying consistent. Staying consistent. I always say I am not the smartest, not the prettiest. You're not making the most amount of money, but I get to where I want to go because I do what I have to do consistently. So it's the same thing. Before the pandemic, I was in the gym. And every day person say it take 21 days to build a habit. That wasn't happening with me. So after 21 days, I still didn't want to go. And what I had to do was simply, there is a coach called Mel Robbins. She has a book called the 5-Second Rule, where she says that is what got her out of depression. It's a very, very simple concept, which is when you are depressed, you never want to get out of bed. And it's like a countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and get up and go. And that's what I do, which is, there are things to do. I know I have to do it. And so I get up and do it. So I move more on action than what I feel or think. And when you move on the action, the feelings and the emotions to me will catch back up eventually. So
That's
I
good.
get up, and I go in the gym. I get up, I don't want to do this, Come on, just start. Just start and get it done. So consistency is the main thing with me. I mightn't always reach the finish line first, but I'm guaranteed to get there for sure.
We are getting into the other side of C-suite. Are you ready?
Ready, ready.
Ready or not, here I come.
Yes.
No, these are the ground rules.
Hmm.
There's singing that happens in this corner.
Thing.
3, 4.
These are a few of my favorite things.
These are
a few of my favorite things. Do you know that that's one of my my most I still watch Sound of Music. Favorite food is anything that is not healthy. I like pasta. I love pasta, so it doesn't matter. It could be lasagna, it could be spaghetti and meatballs, it could be linguine, it could be chicken pasta, it could be seafood pasta. It doesn't matter. I'm eating it. Right? I'm eating it. So it's not always good, but I like it. I don't have a favorite song. It always evolves. It evolves. I'll tell you someone I've loved a little while now. There is a kind of jazz artist called Michael Bublé, and he has done a lot of the old Frank Sinatra. And people would think, nah, Debbie, you listening to that? I sometimes see somebody or hear somebody on a podcast or a documentary, and then I fall in love with their story, and then you find that I'm following them. So he was one, maybe about 10 years ago, that I never let go of. And because he does modern stuff, but he also loves that kind of old, a little bit of jazz type thing. So he has remade a lot of Etta James, Frank Sinatra, Billie Holiday. He's redone a lot of those things. So I listen to him. I love him. But again, songs evolve to me. I guess when you go through things, they have a different meaning. Favorite book, again, it's tough. And then persons would always ask me if you come and look at my shelf, because I'm a teacher, I have not just academic books, but books about specific things. So right now, I actually am reading. There's a nerd part in me. I am actually reading SEO for Dummies. And the Dummies series on Amazon, I have maybe 7 of those. Marketing for Dummies, Facebook for Dummies, and all these things. There's one financial something else, financial investments for dummies. Those books are really very good, and I have gone, I would say I'm 80% that type of reader, where I find a niche, and I kind of jump into that. I went through a time where I did a lot of John Maxwell leadership stuff. I still read a lot of leadership stuff, but persons would be not surprised, but they'll come in and be like, what kind of book is this then? What kind of book? But it's always about a topic. It's always about a topic. I have one as well about sea animals discovered from 2010. And yes, it's I saw a documentary and then I bought it. Right. So persons will say, where, Debbie? What? Oh, that's weird. So it's interesting to me. Right? I have random information.
That's the word. That's the word.
That's
a random reader.
Random.
Just
it's random. Yeah.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. How about people?
People. Favorite people vary again depending on who it is. I have different inspirations. I've grown to appreciate a little bit more my family because they help to preserve me and my son and I've been able to do a lot of things in my career because of my family, my mother and my younger sister in particular, because they really helped me take care of my son. I didn't have to worry. I could work late in work. I could travel for work. I could go lecture in the afternoon, and I knew he was okay. So they are important. They're part of my favoriteest people. But I look for people of inspiration and people. I do like a good underdog story. So Oprah is one and has been around for a long time. I like her. I love her. I love her story. If anybody looked at the Michael Jordan documentary, what was interesting about that was that he was also he was so beloved in the 80s and the 90s, but his perception as a difficult person and a person who used to really push his team hard, that was not known. So when you look back at that documentary, I think some persons who may have loved him said, "Oh my gosh, he's not a nice guy," you know. But what it made me appreciate about him, because I remember the time and the era and how big he was and so iconic as a basketball player. What I liked about it was that he was a real human being and he loved that sport and he wanted to succeed so much, and that's why he did a lot of the things he did. It wasn't always right, but you began to see him for a real person, good or bad. And so I love that story. Place to visit, I think there are so many places undiscovered right here in the Caribbean, and every time I visit a new place in the Caribbean, I think, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this was so beautiful. So the last place I visited, which I fell in love with, was Montserrat. And prior to going there in 2019, I got invited for a business conference. A beautiful island, very similar to other parts of the Caribbean. And I really realized that within the Caribbean, there's so much. Actually, perhaps on the top of my list is maybe like the Cayman Islands.
Oh.
Want to get there.
You'll pack me in your luggage. and
no problem. Sounds good.
All right. Let's jump into your clumsiest moment.
Clumsiest. This is I don't know. I'm not a big put your foot in your mouth type of person because I stammer, think a lot before I say anything. But I can be clumsy physically. I am 6 feet tall, if persons don't know, but 5'10" and a half. So I'm pretty tall. And so I don't really wear a whole lot of heels. I stay away from that. But I've been known to bounce into things, and I don't know. I don't want to say that at all. I was in sports, so I don't know why I might have some clumsy things like that. I have physical clumsy moments.
All right. What annoys you? What are your pet peeves?
It's going and diving into one. So my mother, our parents would have bought whole chicken and clean chicken, right? And since I've been a child, I don't fancy that. And I particularly don't like to see chicken skin. So typically, I don't know how long I'll be able to do this for, but my sister and my mother will take off that even when I buy parts. So if it's on the leg, and I don't really eat leg, but like a leg or breast, and it's on that, they have to take it off. I am like this. Uh, I'm not feeling that at all. At all, at all, at all. I'm not a big insect person too. So certain insects, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the insects. So.
Got you. Got you. All right, let's talk about your play. Your play time.
Hobbies, I wish I had more. And hopefully after all this extra lockdown stuff, I would have. But while in school, I did art in school. I did art for Form 5. So I always loved art, and I was pretty okay with watercolor. And I do have work home that I've done of portraits and landscaping stuff and those things.
Really?
So I've done that. Again, I've always been a person who wants to stretch myself. So I think every few years I've done dance classes. So I have done salsa already. I have done a hip hop class already.
Debbie.
So
okay, we're gonna have a part 2.
So, I do like it, and I think I like to be active. So instead of just a gym in the gym or some kind of thing, I like that because those things were really helpful to get you stronger, and you don't even realize from just a dance class. So yeah, I like those things. Again, because I like random reading. I like to do, somebody says, Debbie, this is what, once it's not too like off the charts, I'll be willing to try it. So yeah.
Having fun so far this afternoon.
It sounds fantastic. It's going well.
Well, we are just about to wrap up. Can you imagine? The time has flown past so quickly, and we're just getting into you take my breath away. So we're going to ask you the final question in this corner. Make a wish.
If I could wish something away now, it would be the pandemic. And just because, as I mentioned, I know persons all around the world who are saying it's so tough. I hope that persons have learned. I hope that persons have made changes. But I know that some people, this is a real tough time. I know young people as well too that their parents are out of work and they are now the breadwinner. I just want to tell persons to continue to pursue, live life in a limitless way.
Debbie, this has been a fantastic, awesome couple of minutes that we spent together getting to know you. And on behalf of the Key Business community, I want to say thank you for spending your time and sharing so much. Your journey has truly been an encouragement and an inspiration. And as we say it all the time, see you around the corner.
We have to have a part 2.